Hey, everybody, welcome back to the next episode of the Balanced Vibes podcast. My name is Kirsten and I am your host. Today, we're talking about tracking your food, your calories and macros versus eating intuitively. And when is one better option than the other, and then vice versa? Who should be doing one over and not the other one, and vice versa? So, we're going to dive into all that today. Before that, though, I want to remind you that my free webinar, Know Your Numbers, is happening on Wednesday, April 13th. So you have time to sign up. It's over a week away. This is going to be 5 p.m. Pacific time and 8 p.m. Eastern time, and it's going to be awesome. I'm going to teach you how to know how many calories and how much protein do you need for your goals. And the reason why I wanted to do this webinar is that I see that a lot of times people are way off. They are not getting the results that they want to get. And that's because they are trying to guess their way there. And if you like intuitive eating and if you're getting the results that you want from it, that's absolutely wonderful. Don't sign up. But if you are not getting the results that you have been looking for, whether they are health results or physique results, then this webinar is going to be for you. And when I said that you're going to find out what you should be eating, how much you should be eating for your goals, people have different goals. What I really love about my work, especially recently, is that I'm noticing that more and more women are here for strength gains and they want to put on muscle and they don't necessarily even care about if the weight goes up or goes down or wherever it goes. They just want to get really strong, put on a lot of muscle. So this could be one goal. Now, there are other people who want to see significant fat loss. This could be another goal. And then there are people who don't care if their weight changes at all. They just want to have a little bit less body fat, a little bit more muscle, maybe nothing too dramatic, but they want to see a little bit of change in their physique and also health. So whatever your goal is out of the three, you will find a good guideline where to get started, where your calories and protein should be at. What I see so much is that so many women are severely under eating and not even realizing that this is the reason why they are not getting the results that they want. We still don't always seem to not understand that muscle needs fuel. If you want to get leaner and that fitter look, then you have to eat enough. And so now when I see people eating only 1,000 calories, then this is clear to me that this is the reason why you're not getting results, because first of all, your muscles don't have any fuel. And also you may have metabolic adaptation because you've been eating this low calorie range for a long period of time. We have to get out of that. And also it can go the other way around where somebody is over consuming energy. They are eating too many calories and they don't even know that. They don't even know what their goal should be. And this is why they are not getting their result either, because they are never in deficit. And deficit in this case is needed to start seeing the results. So whatever your goal is, wherever you are at, whether you have ever tracked anything or not, this webinar will be helpful for you. So please sign up for it. The link is everywhere where I am hanging out. It is in YouTube. It's in my YouTube description. Also show notes if you're listening to this on your podcast platform. It is on my blog and it's also on my Instagram. So wherever I am, this link is also. And if you have any questions about this webinar, you can send them my way. But this is 100% free webinar, and you're literally going to walk away with tons of knowledge that you can start putting into practice literally the next day. So I really hope to see you there. If you know that there's anybody else who might be interested or might benefit from it, maybe you have a friend who you know has been trying to get the body composition changing, but is not just happening, then forward the link to them and have them join, because it's zero risk, nothing to lose, only to win. It's completely free. And in case you cannot be there live, then I will send you the recording afterwards, but you still have to sign up, because this is how I know where to send that link. However, I really hope that you can be there live, because we're going to do some actual calculations there on the call. you're going to be using your calculator and some other things. And if you have any questions that come up, then this is the only way you can ask them live. You cannot ask them later anymore, because only on this live call you will get to ask your questions, and I will answer them right there. So I hope that I see you there. Again, it's called Know Your Numbers, and it happens on Wednesday, April 13th, 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. if you're on East Coast. All right. So today we're going to talk about who should and who shouldn't track macros. We're going to talk about tracking macros versus eating intuitively, and covering a couple of other things there related to these two topics. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it today is that lately I've been seeing a lot of times, a lot of people online saying that tracking is bad. If you're tracking your calories, you're doing it wrong. Just let your body guide you. You know how to do this. Some arguments can be, but you don't want to do this forever, and this is not sustainable, or you were not born tracking food, so why would you do this now? And I understand where these people are coming from. And I will also say the most important thing is that if you're currently really happy with your health, with your hormonal health, with your body composition, with your strength, with your athletic performance, then keep eating intuitively. If you got to these results with intuitive eating, I really think honestly that this is wonderful. Why would you go and start fixing something that's not broken? So if you're doing well, you're eating intuitively, everything is check, 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 check. Perfect. Cool. Just keep rolling. You're doing really great. And I'm really honestly super happy for you. Now, there are a lot of people who are not feeling this way, who are not getting the physique results they want. Their energy is super low. They are not feeding themselves properly and they don't know it, or they are consuming too many, maybe very highly processed foods in excess, and they're not feeling well either. So for these people, their intuitive eating is clearly not working. And if they want to see a change, whether it is physique or health or both, by the way, they often go hand in hand. If you have great health, you also have great physique. Then if they're not getting these results, then also it's not working for them. And it's better to figure out what's going on. And the only way to do it is really to start tracking and understanding what you're doing. Otherwise, it's almost like trying to get to a destination where you've never been and you don't have the map. Can you imagine someone told you, okay, just go to this place, but first of all, I'm not going to give you any directions. Second of all, you cannot use a map or like Google Maps or Apple Maps. You just can't just show up there. You're like, okay, but how? Okay. But when you now get directions and you get to that place, then you're going to maybe second time you go there, you're going to need it, third time. And then you're going to do it intuitively because you don't need the map anymore. You already know how to get there. And this is really similar with macro tracking as well, and food tracking as well. You already know how to get there after you have done this for a period of time. So my personal experience, I'm going to share that real quick too. About 2018, 19, early 2020, I was not really super happy with my body composition because I was carrying a little more body fat than what I was happy with. Also, hormonally speaking, I was not doing super well. I had really bad period cramps. Later, I learned totally related to nutrition too. I had some blood glucose issues, insulin issues. And had I just kept just being there, okay, intuitive eating is supposed to fix this, but okay, I guess I keep going. Nothing would have changed because I did this, right? I was already doing this and nothing changed. So I learned about macronutrition. A lot of things changed. So I definitely got leaner. I got my blood sugar under control. Previously, it had been under over 100 morning fasting glucose. Now, when I change things around, start eating more protein and fiber, and learning how to combine certain foods, so I don't eat just plain oatmeal, I got that blood sugar under control. My period pains lessened a lot, and I got a lot leaner because I also started lifting heavier, but also eating high protein, calories more control, not so much excess as they were before. And I got the results that I wanted. And now I can do the same thing intuitively. Of course, it may not be as accurate as it was when I was tracking, when my goal was to eat 150 grams of protein every day. So now maybe it's one day it's like 140 and one day it's 160. Currently, right now, I don't track, but I have done this for a long time. So I have learned from the period of tracking what it looks like. what does it look like for me to feel good, for my body to feel fueled, for my workout performance to be great? What do I have to do in order to have these things? But I did not know it intuitively. So that's why I think this argument that you knew, like just let your body guide you, it's not always the best piece of advice because, yeah, some people say that we were born with like knowing what to eat. But yeah, when I was born, I was only eating one thing, right? And I knew exactly when to stop. But also now, years later, there's 24/7 food available, highly palatable food available everywhere you look. So you can't really compare. It's not exactly the same situation. And that's why I think tracking can be really helpful. And intuitive eating is not the best option for everybody. So intuitive eating is literally for those who are happy with where they are at. But I think a lot of other people, tracking can be super eye opening. I definitely want to say, though, that food tracking is not for those, in my opinion, who are going through an eating disorder right now. And I would also put people with HA in this group. So if you know me for a longer time, then you know that I used to work with people with hypothalamic amenorrhea. I do not do this anymore. Work with a professional who can help you with that. But I think if you have that, then you may still have some underlying maybe eating disorder ish thing going on. So food tracking may not be the best thing. It works for some. Some people have been really successful with it, but a lot of times with HA, you just have to let go of all the rules and all the numbers and all such things. So this is not what I'm talking about right now. So listening to this, you have an eating disorder, you have an HA, this is probably not for you. Work with a professional, and might be also helpful to work with a therapist at the same time. Now, coming back to tracking, who can it be a great thing for? For a person who is under eating, doesn't even know. And I see a lot of people like that. They think that they are definitely eating enough. Yeah, I'm eating enough. I'm feeling full. And then once they start tracking, they see that they are eating 1,000 calories, 1,200 calories. Their health is not awesome. It's not awesome. They're not putting on muscle. Many of them have fat loss, weight loss resistance. They can train hard, but they don't see any results. So for that person, start seeing, oh, I need a lot more. It can be literally life changing. So we cannot say that tracking is bad because it always you will have to eat less, so you have to cut your calories. No, actually, a lot of times I would say like 75% of people that I work with have to actually increase their calories. For them to start getting the results that they want. Then the other type of person who might benefit from tracking is somebody who wants to increase their workout performance. And sometimes those people who exercise a lot, they don't even realize that they need a lot more fuel, because sometimes exercise can actually make you feel less hungry, and they don't even know that they need a lot more. I know a lot of people, I even know a couple of professional athletes who are this way. They had no idea before they started working with a nutritionist that they actually need like 500,000 calories more. Then another type of person who needs or might benefit from tracking is the one who's not getting the physique results that they want. They're just, what is going on? Why is nothing changing? Then, of course, the person who is over consuming calories and is not even aware that they're doing it. And this is, I feel like in our society in general, this is a bigger problem. More people tend to be like that. They eat in excess. They eat a lot of highly palatable foods, and it's harder to be reasonable with these foods as far as amounts. And they just overconsume, and they're wondering why is nothing happening. And it doesn't appear to them until they track their food intake and realize that, oh, actually, I am way past my actual calorie needs, and I've never been in deficit, and that's why nothing is happening. So there are many scenarios where somebody might benefit from food tracking using the MyFitnessPal or some other tracking app. So, like I said, it can be very helpful, but it is also that you can then later do it intuitively. So to me, that intuitive eating that we're talking about, like healthy intuitive eating, that oftentimes comes through becoming aware of what your body needs. And this is where logging your food can be so eye-opening. And like I said, I personally don't track right now because I've done this long enough. I know how to do this. I know what my body needs. And if I have a body composition goal, let's say I want to cut some body fat, I want to look leaner, then I go back to tracking. I use it as a tool that I take out when I need it, but I don't keep it out all the time. I remember one time my client asked me, is there ever a day when you don't track? And I'm like, of course, yes, there is, but not when I have a specific goal. When I'm working on a specific goal, then I track, but not right now. I just don't, because I have learned what it means to eat intuitively in a healthy way. And how I eat intuitively now is way different from how I ate intuitively in 2018 and 19 and early 2020, when my quote unquote intuitive was sometimes eating 3 protein bars, or like I've talked about this before too, like having a froyo for dinner because it was fun, it was cool. Yeah, it is fun, whatever. But if you're not happy with the results that you're getting, then something needs to change. So now my intuitive eating is different, right? So now I'm prioritizing protein. I'm actually eating real meals. I'm not eating ice cream instead of dinner. Right. So the intuitive eating it's like there's this knowledge piece that wasn't there before, and it's not obsessive. You just use it because you know what works for you. Like I said, it's a tool, right? It's a learning tool. So now sometimes the question that I get is that, well, isn't macro tracking the same thing as a diet? How is that different? Because both are restrictive, both have certain rules. And I would say that they are not the same thing. It is true that you have to look at your numbers, yes. But where it's very different is that you have a lot more flexibility as far as what you're eating. You can basically eat anything. And I am always a big proponent of eating mostly real whole foods. And I think there is so much misinformation in the world about what's healthy, trying to have all people stop eating eggs and red meat. And this is something that I cannot agree with. I really think that whole real foods coming from nature are the healthiest foods, and we should consume them. So I think this is really important, but it's tracking is not, or macronutrition is not nowhere close to as restrictive as many crazy diets are, which come with like long lists of what you can and what you cannot have. And speaking of which, I actually wanted to bring up one of my recent but Instagram posts, and I'm going to open it up right now. So the stuff that's going on in the dieting world is pretty crazy, I got to say. So here in this post, I'm talking about 4 things that I've noticed recently on social media that really made me think that why do we have to do it in such extreme way? So first thing was a video. It was an Instagram reel by this carnivore guy who said that green smoothies are total crap and nobody should ever drink them or consume any greens at all. And the only place where anything green vegetable belongs is toilet. So he would just he would fill his Vitamix or whatever blender with broccoli. He would blend it up, and then he walked to the bathroom and just dumped it down the toilet, and saying that this is total crap. Vegetables are terrible for you, full of toxins. Nobody should ever eat them, and all we should ever eat is meat. So this is extremely extreme, I guess. Why do we have to be so dogmatic and extreme? So when you do macronutrition, you focus on keeping a nice balance in your diet, right? You're going to have some vegetables, and you're going to have some meat, and you're going to have some eggs, and you're going to have some oats. The things that you like and that make your body feel good, and nothing's like, you cannot have this. Like, when did we get so crazy that we started demonizing vegetables? That kind of blows my mind a little bit. Now, the other one was, I'm still reading from my Instagram post, a scientist who argued that there's a direct correlation between how long you can fast every day and how long you live. And also that breakfast is the biggest scam of our lifetime. Again, extremely strict, extremely polarizing. It has to be this way, and my truth is the truth. We've talked about fasting in this podcast a couple of times, and I've always mentioned that I understand the spiritual aspect of it. But to say that there's a direct correlation between how long you can fast every day and how long you live, this is kind of crazy to me, because, okay, are we going to experiment with this now? Are we going to fast as long as we can every single day, and that's going to make us healthier, when it can, for many people, cause a really bad cortisol output? We're going to feel more stressed. Thyroid hormones are going to be out of whack. especially female bodies. I've noticed that fasting seems to work better for guys, but for women, not so much. All kinds of hormonal issues start showing up. I've seen a lot of people who do those 1800, sorry, not 1800, but 18-hour fast. They start losing their hair. They feel super fatigued and weak. Now, is this really true? Does this make my life any longer? I doubt it. I think this is going to be pretty miserable. Now, he also said that breakfast is the biggest scam of our lifetime. And again, just skip the breakfast and fast longer, and you're going to have a better, longer life. And I disagree. Again, it might work for some people, but majority of women, especially active women, it's not the case. So you don't have to think so extreme. And this is where, again, flexible dieting or macronutrition is the same thing. We don't do that, right? You don't have to. You don't have to fast that way. Another thing that I saw is that there are some people who are arguing that all grains are bad for everybody in every circumstance, absolutely no exceptions. So why are we saying this again? What's so terrible about grains? Yeah, intolerances aside, I'm not talking to those who seriously have some intolerance, allergy, so on. Yeah, then maybe you have to stay away. But for physically active people, having some rice or having some oats or having some bread, what is so bad about that? There isn't. There's nothing so bad. If you're active person, you're going to be really benefiting from that cup of rice after your hard workout, or you're going to get really good fuel from that oatmeal or slice of toast for your workouts. This is, again, it's totally extreme and no need to go there. And the other one that I found was that some people are saying that fruit is just glorified candy and should be therefore avoided completely. I mean, this is just can't get much crazier than that. We're demonizing the things that come from nature and have typically known as healthy foods, good foods coming from nature, full of nutrients. And now all of a sudden we're saying it's the same as candy. How can we compare something like this? So this is where diets are different from macros. Yes, with macros, you have your numbers you have to look at. And this is the part where you really have to put in some work, but you have this flexibility with food. And a lot of times when people start working with me, they're telling me, okay, I'm going to get like super clean eating and you're not going to see any candy or any bread in my food log. And I'm like, but why? I'm not here to tell you that you cannot have them. You can have them. You're just going to work them into your meals and it's going to be fine. My goal is not to deprive you. And what I see over and over again is that when people have these things in moderation, they are more satisfied, they're happier, they're healthier. They don't build up that massive craving for these foods. And like I shared in my binge eating episodes 2 episodes ago, when you tell yourself that you cannot have XYZ, then you're just going to build up massive craving for it. And then you're just going to go crazy with it. So this is the big difference between diets and macros. And there are, of course, other differences too. So for example, with diets, I feel like the goal is to always cut, right? Eliminate stuff, restrict stuff. But what I see with a lot of my clients, we actually have to put the stuff in so that they actually start meeting their nutritional goals, so they can actually start having body composition that they want, so that their workouts actually start paying off. A lot of times we have to increase food versus diets. It's always like, cut this out, cut that out, get really extreme with this stuff. Then also another thing with diets, what I see a lot is like, it's almost like you have to have certain products or else you're not doing it right. You have to buy this shake and this powder and that powder. You don't. Like, you really don't. Your best diet is the one that comes from real foods. You just have to find that real balance between your protein and then the other macros and eat the right amount of calories for you. So I hope that this makes sense to you. It doesn't have to be as extreme. You don't have to think about tracking as like, this is terrible. I'm going to be hungry all the time. I'm going to be just, like on this low calorie thing again. My goal is never to put anybody on like extremely low calories and starve them, which is what diets do. And that's why they don't last. Now, again, I want to emphasize again that if you have an eating disorder or a really bad relationship with food and you know that numbers are really triggering for you, don't do it. Okay. Don't do it. Maybe just try to think in terms of, eating whole foods most of the time. That's cool. But the goal, I think, for all of us should be eventually to be able to eat intuitively. But this is the end goal, right? For a lot of people, it takes a little bit of work through tracking your macros, gaining the awareness that you need, and then eat according to these guidelines. And then when you have practiced this for a while, then you understand, okay, this is what healthy intuitive eating looks like for me. So I hope that you found this episode valuable and it gave you some clarity and maybe gave you some more understanding of when tracking is valuable, when to use it. If you like this video, I'm going to link to the next one you can see in the upper corner if you watch it on YouTube, that I think will also be really beneficial for you. Also, don't forget that if you enjoy these videos, subscribe on YouTube and also leave a 5-star review on iTunes or wherever you are listening to this podcast. And also sign up for the webinar. Know Your Numbers happens on Wednesday, April 14th, 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Pacific and then Eastern respectively. And I really hope to see you there. If you have any thoughts, any comments, any questions, any new topics you would like me to cover, I am here to listen, and I will see you again very soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.